A recent survey revealed that at one time or another, most parents have either screamed at, cursed at, or even threatened their kids to get them to behave. Our next guest says he has the key to scream-free parenting. But before we meet him, let's pay a visit to one family who could use a little help in that department.
Whining, crying, foot-stomping tirades.
Pilar!
Blatant disobedience.
No!
It's no secret, kids can behave very badly. But some parents rival their children in household screamfest.
Take them off.
Like JANEL DAIGLE. She's the mother of Joel, Pilar, and Mackenzie. JANEL is living as a single parent while her husband Sean is in Iraq. JANEL knows that yelling at her kids isn't healthy, not to mention exhausting. Unsure of what she was doing wrong, JANEL began to document her reactions to her children.
Okay, can somebody help me? I'm yelling and I can't shut up.
And I feel that my yelling has encouraged them to yell, and they yell at each other. And I want them to have a different way of communicating with each other and with other people and with their children.
The 700 Club enlisted the help of marriage and family therapist Hal Runkel. Hal is the best-selling author of Screamfree Parenting. He says, parents, keep your cool.
Hi. Hey, I'm Hal.
JANEL, nice to meet you.
Very good to meet you. And who's this?
This is Joel.
Hey, Joel. Shake my hand now that it's been in your mouth. All right. It's good to meet you, bud.
Come on in.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. This is Mackenzie.
Hello. Hi, Mackenzie. I'm Mr. Hal.
And this is Pilar.
Hey, Pilar. How do you spell Pilar?
P-I-L-A-R.
That is beautiful. What would you like to see different in your home?
I would like to see myself more in control.
Okay.
Just trying to remain calm in a situation, maintain control, but usually control's out the window.
And this is the difference of scream-free parenting, is it's not about controlling them. It's about controlling me.
Both JANEL and Hal are here with us now. We're going to see what kind of help JANEL got. Welcome to both of you. It's great to have you with us. First of all, I want to say you are a very brave woman to let cameras come into your home and see that.
It was fun.
But it's typical. You know, you have a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 2-year-old. That means your kids are all very active. They're already developed into independent little people, and they have opinions and attitudes. Is this a pretty typical day at your house?
Yes, I would say very typical. A little bit chaotic in the morning.
And you know, one of the things that the friend and I were saying this morning is we can't imagine single parenting because it's so, you just need an extra person, an extra set of hands. And in a sense, you are single parenting with your husband in Iraq. What dynamics does that bring to play?
It definitely has shown me that it takes two to raise. It's very, very difficult. At least I have light at the end of the tunnel. I'm not a single parent forever. Yeah. But it is. It takes two to raise kids.
Do your children behave differently when your husband's at home?
Oh, sure. Yes.
In what way?
I would have to say they're better behaved. They
Really?
Yes. They listen to Daddy. I don't know if it's because I'm just mom and I'm there all the time, or if it's just a deeper voice or his authority. I don't know, but yeah, they do. They behave a little bit differently.
JANEL, what are some of the things that your kids do that trigger yelling at you to try to control the situation?
I would have to say probably the biggest thing is disobedience or defiance. If I ask you to do something and you don't do it, or you tell me you're not going to do it, that would definitely trigger a yell.
When you find yourself responding with yelling or screaming at them, how do your kids respond to that?
Usually they yell back. And that's a huge thing and a huge reason why
Which
I think
only
this
makes
is
you
wonderful.
angry, right?
Sure.
Or out of control.
Yes.
Hal, you spent some time with JANEL and with her family, and I think we all said as we were watching that video piece that maybe your home is like this too.
Looks like my home,
it's normal, but
Absolutely.
What are the biggest problems that you saw that sort of triggered all of this?
Well, like you said, doing it on your own, that is incredibly difficult. But the truth is, half of American households are doing it on their own.
That's not an unusual situation.
Right, and so it means, you know what, I have to embrace the fact that this is difficult.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult. The more I think that it's not supposed to be difficult, that it should be different, right? It should be easier. Well, that's when I start focusing on the kids. They should be more appreciative, right? They should be more respectful. I should be able to say it, and then they're supposed to do it, right? And that's just how it's supposed to work. And as long as I have that expectation, then I'm going to just keep escalating, getting more reactive every time they simply exercise a mind of their own. Like you mentioned, you ask them to do something and then they say they won't do it. Right. Well, that's interesting, because if I asked a friend, would you do this for me? And they said no, I wouldn't be angry at them because I asked them a question. So they can say yes or no. But that we do that with our kids. Would you do this? No. Okay, now you have to do it. Well, then why did you ask them to do it in the first place, right? The thing is, it comes out, we don't treat our kids as actual separate individual human beings. So often we treat them as pets.
So how can we do that? I mean, what are some suggestions of behaviors that would encourage a change of how we treat them, how we respond to them?
Instead of telling our kids what to do all the time, simply highlight the choices that they have. It's like if I told my son, he's 8 years old, if I told him, you know what, you can't talk to me like that. Well, he's going to be thinking, but I just did. So I can talk to you like that anytime I want, unless I put duct tape over his mouth, which I'm tempted to do a lot. But you know what? You can talk like that to me if you want, but here's what's going to happen if you do. That's treating him with respect. Say, you know what? Look, it's dinner time, and you've got 1 minute to turn off your Game Boy and come to dinner. Now, you can turn it off in that 1 minute, or I'll turn it off. It's your choice. Now, just letting you know that if I turn it off, then it's going to stay off for you for 2 days. Now the choice is up to you. I don't have to be angry at you. What I'm being towards you is respectful. Respectful of the fact you're an individual, capable of making decisions on your own. Even a 2-year-old is capable of making decisions. You throw the toy, that's your choice, but the toy is going into timeout. Or the toy, some consequences in place. But I'm not going to let the consequence be me flipping out.
It sounds so simple and so logical when I listen to you say it, but I know myself that, you can be in the middle of a situation like that, and I don't know if it's because you don't have the consequence set in your head or what it is, but you feel like you don't know what to do in that situation to make it resolve the situation, end up the way you'd like to, which is saving the relationship.
True. And the problem is you think you have to. You think you have to have the exact thing to say at the exact perfect time. One of the things I loved about talking with her is, Rick, I don't think anything's wrong. I don't think you're doing anything wrong, I believe
encouraging.
Exactly. I believe every parent has a great parent within them with great parenting instincts and principles to guide their behavior. But the problem is, in the heat of the moment, I flip out. I lose it. We've all lost it with our kids. Well, I ask, what is the it in that sentence? Well, I think the it in that sentence is my adulthood. The very thing my kids need most from me is my calm adult leadership, and I let that go out the window. And because of that, then all those principles I have, all those good parenting instincts, go right out the window as well.
So how do I save my adulthood in the midst of chaos?
Be committed every morning to say, this is not a morning that I'm going to commit myself to get my kids to behave. It's a morning that I'm going to focus on how I want to behave. Especially when my kids misbehave. And so it's simply about creating a pause between stimulus, your kids pushing your buttons, and response. Because in that pause, I can choose how I want to respond, not just have some knee-jerk reaction. I tell a story in the 3rd chapter of my book about my son climbing on the outsides of the stairs. He's 2 years old. He's just hanging onto the banister, right? And he's on the outside. He's about halfway up. Now, I'm at the top of the stairs. What the heck what's the thing that we want to do? We want to scream at them. We want to lunge for him, whatever.
Stop.
Exactly. Which, of course, just increases the chances that he'll fall.
Exactly.
That's the power of emotional reactivity. Let's flash forward. Let's say I've been telling my daughter, you can tell me anything. Well, she's 16. She comes to me and says, Dad, I really want to have sex with my boyfriend. What? Oh, my gosh, I can't handle that. What's his name? We're never going to let you out of the house. I'm never going to let you see him. What have I just done? I've just eliminated myself as a resource. She's not going to come to me again. And 2, I've just created Romeo and Juliet. She's now going to run to that guy or some other guy simply because her father, who she wanted to talk to about this, couldn't handle it in the moment. That's why my number one job and your number one job with your 3 kids is to just stay calm, no matter what.
Well, we have some solid information for you in a little fact sheet that sort of culminates all of this into a couple of pages. It's called Cool, Calm, and Connected Parenting. It's available by calling the number on your screen, 1-800-716-FACT, or you can log on to cbn.com. It's free. But what you really need to read is Screamfree Parenting by our guest today, Hal Runkel, and it's filled with wonderful and wise information to help you stay the in-control parent or the in charge of herself or himself parent. Right? Exactly. Thank you so much, both of you. Gordon?
Well, children aren't the only reason for screaming in the home. Up next, meet a husband and wife who fought their way into bankruptcy.